So thank you for joining us today on this webinar dedicated to what goes beyond fiber. We will address different topics regarding this. But before going into the main topic, we can already have a quick presentation of Dataxis, what we're doing, who we are, and so you can get more information. I stopped my camera because I think there's an issue with it. Sometimes it works well, and then suddenly it doesn't work well. So we'll see what's happening with the camera. If you have any questions during this session, you can ask them directly in the chat. Please note that I will not answer the questions. But we will take care of these questions and get back to you after the session, because we already have your contact since you registered to the session. Also, if you are not able to look at it fully, or if you have some colleagues that couldn't join, you will also receive the link of the recording of the session by the end of it. So yeah, you will have the possibility to look at it again. It will also be available on YouTube. So Dataxis, just a few words, as I was saying, who we are. So we're a market research and event company for 20 years. We have been doing market research for 20 years in different topics, different fields. This is one of our products, such as the TV industry, the streaming industry, the content, the telecom, the technologies, and more overall the media and entertainment. And there's even more topics. We also have events related to this market research that we are doing for all these years. The events are related to the market research, and during these events we address topics with panelists. It's possible to sponsor those events. Some are related to the TV and the streaming industry. Some others are related to the ads, the sport, or our events next Giga Connect that are related to the broadband. We're going to talk about this in 2 seconds. We also have advertising products like white papers. You can also sponsor webinars like this one, for example. For our events dedicated to the broadband, we will have 2 events this year. One will take place in Prague for Europe, the 14th and 15th of June of this year, and one in Latin America in Mexico City, the 5th of September of this year. You can see the bullet points are representing the different topics that will be addressed by the panelists, our analysts, the discussions that will take place. We gather all the key decision makers, budget owners, people that are related to the industry, and it's always a good occasion to discuss all these different topics. As an example here, we addressed the technological shift in the telco and the media space, the future of the high-speed connectivity, the 5G, the satellite broadband, the gigabyte access, and smart Wi-Fi. These topics will be at the heart of the discussion we will get. So what goes beyond fiber? That's the main reason why we are here together today. So I'm gonna give you a quick introduction to the topic. But basically, the aim of this discussion is to talk about the fact that fiber has been the way to reach highest connectivity for all the players. Recently, we can see this shift, knowing, for example, that in Europe there's an obligation kind of to reach 90% of fiber networks by 2030. But there are some gaps between the territories in Europe, but also in other parts of the world. Of course, the development of the fiber networks is not at the same level. So that's what we're going to see. And we will also address the different ways to reach high connectivity that are not fiber, because it exists other ways also to reach high connectivity. And that's what we're going to see together. Let's go on our website, because we will use our different dashboards in market research to address these different topics. Just as a quick reminder, as we've seen on the presentation, this is the Dataxis website. How to use it. If you are wondering if you track any information, you can tape it there in the middle, and you will see by searching what we have, depending on what you address. You can find again all the different topics we address in market research, our different products, market research, events, and the different advertising product, but also the research highlights. This is something that you can get for free. You will receive, if you put your email address there, once to twice a week research highlights made by our analysts directly in your mailbox. For example, you can see the latest that were published here. You have, of course, explanation, core text related to the chart, the graph, or whatever is the support that goes with to explain the trends. Also, if you want to go back in time, it's possible to select an industry or a region to see the past research highlights made by our analysts. So I really invite you to register to this because it's interesting to be up to date to the market. But going back to what goes beyond fiber, we will start at first to look at the situation currently in the world, if I can say like this. So this first dashboard that we are looking at is linked to the fixed broadband by operator. We are on the forecasts because actually we track the situation by country, but we also produced forecasts, and we can see that these forecasts are going until 2027. And the aim here is to show you the evolution of the broadband technological accesses. This is worldwide view. And it gives an idea of the actual fiber penetration over household. So it's in a range on this chart. It also gives a view of the technological deployment advancement in markets, because if we make some focus on some markets, we will see disparities. Because here fixed wireline networks and wireless solutions on cellular networks can be different. If I select, for example, Africa, to have a closer look by region, we can see that in Africa, the technologies are not at the same level, but the investment is made on fiber. And nowadays, most of the fixed broadband are on copper network, so the DSL. That's what you see in green on that screen. But new subscription will be mostly on fiber, and we can see that it's growing through the time. If we make a focus on another region and we select Europe on the same dashboard, we can see the situation is slightly different. The market is rapidly transitioning to fiber at the expense of cable and DSL. Germany, as an example, because we also have disparities within the regions. If we take Germany, Germany is still predominantly a DSL and cable broadband market. There's a delay in the fiber rollout, while if we select France, we can see another picture of the situation because the rollout is already well advanced and fiber has become the main broadband access since 2012, actually. The view you have now can also be displayed on the map. So we were looking now at the projection. As a reminder, you can see down the projection of the deployment of the different high connectivity solution. But we can see that on the map if we take a current view. This is on another dashboard that we have. And we can see the penetration of the internet by access. If we take the FTTX subscribers and we look at this map, we can see the disparities I've just highlighted between Germany here with 6.5 household penetration of the household, while in France it's 56 at Q3 2022. We also see the same situation for the UK, which is more likely to look like the German market. If we look at another region of the world and we go, for example, on the North American market, this is something we can do. We can select the internet cable for the USA and Canada. So here you have all the different KPIs. I select internet cable subscribers, and we will see that the penetration is really, really high, 60% and almost 50% for Canada and the USA on this. If we look at the XDSL subscribers, we can see a really low rate for the USA and the Canada, which is not the case for France, for example, that has 40%. Yeah, and it's almost 60% in Germany. So now that we've seen the disparities, we can ask ourselves the question, how telco operators are transitioning toward fiber networks? Because this is what's happening right now. So let's go on another dashboard that we have. This is the fiber and cable infrastructure dashboard. This data you see is up to date to the Q3 2022 publication. And here you will have the possibility to see by actor the number of premises that are connected to either FTT or HFC networks by operator. If we look at the market shares, because we can change the view on that data, and we make a focus on the European broadband. Let's do this. The situation is different from one country to another, and it's really relied to the history of copper and cable telco operators locally. So this is the view on the European continent in a global way. But if we make a focus on the British situation, oh, sorry, I have to put UK. If we look at the UK, we can see old like British Telecom and Virgin Media that are historically dominating the broadband market and retain significant market shares in terms of deployed premise and household reach. Due to their dominant position and the lack of competition, the transition to fiber has been delayed compared to other Western European markets. That's what we've seen with the map. If we also make a look on Germany, we can make the same comparison. There's a similar situation with the dominance of historical players like Deutsche Telekom and Vodafone. And on top of that, those markets are predominantly inhabited by individual housing. So despite the fact that EU has urged European countries to reach 90% of fiber coverage by 2030, we already see that Dutch Telecom and British Telecom, and I can put back the UK and Germany together. So we have seen that Dutch Telecom and British Telecom are massively investing into the transition to fiber. Virgin Media is also migrating cable premised to our FTT, plus in those markets. And the multitude of smaller markets have emerged over the last 3 years to ramp up the number of connected premise paths. Multitude of smaller actors, sorry. And this can be seen if we take the view by actor and go back to the first view of this dashboard, and we make a focus on the UK. We will see that a lot of investment funds and equity firms are represented in the ownership of the fiber network. Let's look at it. So once again, here you will have the FTTP premise pass and HFC home pass by actor in the UK with the type of actor they are. And in the UK, there are more than 200 players. So there's a multitude of players, which is much more than in some other markets, because it attracts massive investment from the equity firms and investment funds. So the actors are affiliated with infrastructure investors. And this trend push forward the Fiberco business model, where infrastructures are disconnected to the service operations. Because the trust in fiber is high and the investment is now. If we take the Italian example, there's also something that we can highlight. We didn't mention Italy previously. But for Italy, we see also joint venture that are there. For example, with a Fibercop and Open Fiber, they are doing a joint ventures between the telcos and investment funds, which is something interesting. So a lot of investment and emulsion is there around fiber rollout, and there are multiple initiatives. So that's what we've seen. In UK alone, for example, as I was saying, it is one of the most fragmented fiber network market in Europe. We track around 200 infrastructure operators. And if we look at the situation in the USA, it's even more because you have more than 2,000 players. That's what we're going to see here, because we also have a tracking for the USA and the Canada of all the broadband operators by county for the US. So with the state split and the county split, but also by province for Canada. That's what you see here. On that view, you will have the household reach by actor for California on a global way. But you can also filter it even further by going into the different counties. If we take another view, for example, a state overview, this is even more visible. I can select a county directly there. If I take Orange County, for example, that's a lot of data, so it requires some time. Here we have the split only for the Orange County in California, just to show you the depth of the data we collect. It's also possible to have the max down speed and max up speed filter. Just for information, we have the most granular data sets, and we are covering every country in the world. It depends of the model, but that's what we aim to do. So in the US overall, cable is still the main access, but in remote areas where it's more challenging to roll out wireline accesses, there's something that appeared, and that's exactly now that we're going to talk about all the different solutions that are going beyond the fiber. For example, the 5G broadband, it has become a reliable alternative to fiber. And this leads us to the next view. So this one, I've selected in advance USA, so to make sense with what we were saying. And we can filter and select only the 5G subscribers and the fixed wireless internet subscribers to have this comparison, because we can see the overall footprint fixed wireless offers and the growth of the 5G fixed broadband. So it's led for now by a handful players, as you can see here for the fixed 5G subscription. And they are migrating customers to more advanced plans and devices to support the fifth generation of a cellular network rather than the 3G or the 5G. One thing to highlight, this is something that we see in the most populous area, the most connected areas. It's less a solution to rural areas. We know, even though in the United States, there's a lot of operator, we can have the split by state and by county. There's a multitude of players, and the 3 out of 4 actors in the US are rural areas, and they are using the fixed wireless access. So the 5G is more for the populous area, but it's already a solution that the big telcos are using, you can see here, to transition the subscribers to the 5G. So improving network capabilities is only one aspect of the necessary solution to bring better connectivity to end customers. So we were talking about the 5G, but people also need to get equipped with devices that can support the new speed levels and which performance can get optimized based on the customer usage. This is really important, and that's why we're going to look at the deployment of the advanced customer premised equipment. This is our advanced CP tracker that will appear in a few seconds. And this development is accompanying the evolution toward faster connectivity for sure. On this tracker, you will have the possibility to know which operators have deployed gateways, routers, but also home networking solutions and their devices in their markets, plus when it was launched and on which technology. That's what you can see on this dashboard. It also gives an overview on how new Wi-Fi standards are being deployed by operator. Currently Wi-Fi 6, but upcoming the Wi-Fi 6E and 7. And beyond the connectivity and fiber, mesh and intelligence deployment solution exists to optimize the connectivity. We've seen new partnership appearing For example, Amazon has acquired the company Hero, and they are specialized in that type of solutions. So there's also a look to make on this. And another important typology of actors on the broadband market dedicated on bringing connectivity to remote areas will be the satellite operator. And that's what we're gonna see now. If we take this new dashboard on the fixed satellite broadband retail subscribers. So we will see here that the historic actors on the satellite market are not just active on the broadcast segment, which is historically their main activity, but they have also dedicated broadband offers. We can look at the French footprint as an example. So I'm going to select France here. You can have the actor, the group, and then the number of subscribers in thousands to the solutions through the year. So since last year, we also know that LEO broadband connectivity is also starting to scale in different regions of the world. We will soon publish, that being said, forecast on how this will affect broadband market overall. For example, we will be able to follow the Starlink or OneWeb initiatives across the globe. One thing also to highlight that we track regarding the satellites and the connectivity. We will not look at the dashboard today. So once again, here are all the different dashboards we have, but we track the in-flight connectivity. In-flight connectivity by region with all the different offers deployed. Satellite IFC solutions, the solutions made by the different satellites, and the airlines IFC offers. We will be able to tell you for every region, every airlines, how many aircraft are equipped with which solutions from which satellite operator. That's something connected to the satellites, so that I was just highlighting this. But going back to the topic, we have seen together the big picture of the broadband market worldwide with how it's structured by access and by actors. Now we're going to talk about what will happen in the next few years and which changes are already on the way. We know that broadband operators are already looking towards future-proof connectivity, and we can look at it via the 10G plus tracker that we have. So infrastructure are already being deployed to support the 10 gigabit per second broadband offers. On the fixed networks for fiber, so the XGS-PON, for example, on the cable, announcements are made for a few cable operators to transition towards DOCSIS 4.0. And that's what you can see here, actually, because you can see that operators of infrastructure or services have already announced their transition and under which circumstances, with which technical partner for infra rollout, at what time. I precise that what time means the announcement date, not the deployment, and also on which 10G plus standard. That's what you can see here in the 10G plus solution. Sorry. Right there. Based on those announcements and the different levels of maturity of the market, we are able also to establish forecasts to track the growth of the 10G offer subscribers in each market. So this is in our 10G plus forecast dashboard that was published a few days ago. And we are able to give you forecast until 2032. Right there. So you have the country, the different KPIs, and the evolution of the different subscribers and number of households in thousands. So what goes beyond fiber? I think we've addressed the topic the most as we could today. We've seen that fiber is now and tomorrow and will be the best way to have high connectivity. There are other ways, but we can see clearly that the fiber will be the only way to have the best connectivity in the future. That's what we can highlight here. Please remember that we will have 2 events this year related to the broadband, one in Prague in June, one in Mexico City in September. If you have any question about sponsoring these events, attend these events as well as participant, or talking during the discussions and panels that will be organized. You can also contact us in the Q&A here or send us an email. I will show you the contact after. We will also have upcoming webinars dedicated to the metaverse, metaverse in the virtual world, a place to drive for video content provider, and also what can the metaverse do for sports broadcastings. These 2 topics will be discussed soon, and we will be communicating to you when, and yeah, you will be more than welcome to join us. So thank you for coming. You have my email address right there. You can also reach at me via LinkedIn. If you have any question, want to see the platform again, want to access the dashboards or sponsor one of our events. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day. And yeah, see you soon on another Dataxis webinar. Bye-bye.